All right, Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, and websites by plebs or plebes. I'll have to piss everybody off, right? I don't know why people get so upset with that. Anyways, all right, let's go to the numbers, people.
Number time! Sponsored by Bitcoin 2022.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 703,085. The Bitcoin price, 48,340. Chain rewrite days, 820. Total public Lightning capacity, making us look like fools, 2,965.1. Sats per dollar, 2,069. Blocks to the halvening, 136,915.
Okay.
What are we talking about? Okay, so hold on a second. Hold on. Wait, okay? I was thinking about this, all right, with the Lightning capacity. So look, channels are most likely to open and close when the price drops. That's what I think, but clearly I'm wrong.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. But it only went up. It only went up. But that's the thing. Is it because, and we were talking about this.
But look, yesterday it was 9. But yesterday it went up 9. Now it's up another 7.
Yeah, no, but the trajectory. I felt like before that, the amount, Lightning network capacity was growing at such a rate before the pump. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no, it was a bigger clip. It was a bigger clip.
It's still growing, but it's incrementally growing, right? And I'm telling you, if we have a massive price drop, watch, it's gonna go big again. Even though it's October, so I don't know if that's gonna happen. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Fail. Sponsored by
Pirate Hash.
All right, you know what? We got tagged like crazy in this tweet to cover this as a fail, right? What happened with comp? But I think a lot of people didn't know yet that we had dropped it in the episode that dropped today, the original fail, right? So we weren't even going to do the follow-up to this, but we got tagged so much, we had no choice. And what are we talking about? Yesterday's, right? DeFi money market Compound overpays millions in comp rewards in possible exploit. Founder says 80 million at risk. Compound erroneously paid out millions in liquidity mining rewards following an update to one of its smart contracts. In one transaction, $27 million was claimed. Okay, so that happened. Yes, that happened 2 days ago. But then yesterday, okay, or maybe, hold on, let me take a look. Yeah, that's right, 2 days ago. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, anyways. So then Robert Leshner, all right, let's take a look. All right, Web3 advocate, at Compound Finance. I guess he's a coder. Anyways, if you received a large incorrect amount of comp from the Compound protocol error, please return it to the Compound time lock. Keep 10% as a white hat. Otherwise, it's being reported as income to the IRS, and most of you are doxxed. Wait a second. Is that Nico? Is that DeFi?
Sounds like DeFi.
I thought that was decentralized finance, and people are going to get doxxed and reported to the IRS. And you want to store our value on your blockchain? Really? This is ultrasound money? This is finance of the future?
This is the nail in the coffin of DeFi. This really shows, or one of the nails. Gary Gensler is gonna, do the rest of them. But not that I'm a fan. But again, right? It really shows his cards, man. It really shows that he's programmed for centralization. That's why he's programmed for this central authority. In this case, it would be the IRS, right? If this was a Bitcoiner, first of all, he would never say something like that. Because the whole point of being a Bitcoiner is to tear down, the powers that be, which is, the central bankers, man. And it's, the whole thing is decentralized, and it's just like, Phil.
But just imagine, right? Just imagine you want to pretend that you want to hold the world's value, and as soon as you make a terrible mistake, you go crying to the IRS. Like you're going to look for mommy and daddy to help you out. It's like, That's not how this works. We already have a system that sucks like that, okay? And they're printing money like there's no tomorrow. Okay, we already have a system that goes to Big Mommy and Daddy.
But that's the point that I was trying to make, dude, is that like he doesn't understand that this whole thing is to separate the money away from humans, the monetary policy away from humans. But there you have a shitcoiner that doesn't separate the monetary policy from humans. And he just shows you again why, man. Just runs to the IRS first thing that he can. Man, it's so bad. It's so bad, Phil.
You know what, Nico? When I was reading that tweet, I had to go and take a look at the Compound Finance website. Just wanted to go take a peek, and I just wanted to share some of the interesting things that I found on this website. And I want you guys to think about the $27 million that was lost, the guy that's crying to the IRS, and the words on this page. And not just the words on this page, but the words on the other page that I'm going to show you. You ready? Take a look. Audited and verified. The most secure protocol for money. Oh my God. Nico, it's the most secure protocol for money? What? I don't think they know what... See, they wrote the words, but I don't think they know what those words mean.
In the traditional system, in the legacy financial system, they use the same goddamn words, and they don't mean jack shit. But in DeFi, it's even worse. They mean less of a shit, right? So yeah, man, and it just goes to show, man, like Bitcoiners and shitcoiners are so out of tune because it's like they're trying to build their tech, but because they don't put so much importance on the decentralization, they put importance on the tech, right? They're still working within this system where humans control the monetary policy, therefore it's centralized, right? And with Bitcoin, it's decentralized. Humans don't control the monetary policy of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So it's like and he just revealed his cards. It shows who he is as a person, of where his mind is. Listen, the end goal of this is separating the money from state. That is the end goal. You're not going to do it with money that could potentially be tracked. I'm not trying to say anything bad about the IRS, but being trapped by money that essentially could be like
can be censored.
How do I put this? You can't separate the monetary policy from state if the IRS could potentially, potentially regulate, or the SEC could regulate what it is you're doing, right? So it's like, man, it shows who the shitcoiners are as people, and they're not operating on the same wavelength we are as Bitcoiners. They don't get it, dude. They don't get it. He just revealed who he is, man.
So hold on, right? So just remember, audited and verified. Okay. So I went over to their security page. Right, this is exactly that. That's where this leads. This is about their protocol security. Okay, security of the Compound protocol is our highest priority. Highest priority of the protocol. Okay, Nico, it's the highest priority. Alongside third-party auditors and consultants, has invested considerable effort to create a protocol that we believe is safe and dependable. All contract code and balances are publicly verifiable, and security researchers are eligible for a bug bounty for reporting undiscovered vulnerabilities. Oh, well, that makes it all better. We believe that size, visibility, and time are the true test of the security of a smart contract. Please exercise caution and make your own determination of security and suitability. The Compound protocol has been reviewed and audited by Trail of Bits and Open Zeppelin. So there you go. Right? You've got, just like our system right now, you've got auditors that have zero incentive whatsoever. Okay? They get paid. Okay? And there you go. You pay the auditor, they give their stamp of approval. What does it make a difference? How many rug pulls have we shown you where they had auditors? Who cares?
You saw, and
it doesn't matter.
Let's make the connections, dude. Let's make the connections between it. Look, Moody's 2008, and you're the one that told me, right?
Bingo.
Where they reported, all the credit, whatever, were good, had nothing to worry about, and then they went to shit. So the whole point, right, is that you have to take the trust out of the system. Only Bitcoin does that. Only Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the signal. Bitcoin successfully separates the monetary policy out of humans. It's a successful decentralized network, right? Therefore, not one single man could accumulate so much power, right? That is the innovation. And these shitcoiners, they don't understand it, Phil. They don't get it. And that example that you just showed proves it to me that their mind is more about how much ETH can I accumulate versus can we change the world?
Yep. Absolutely. It's the total bullshit narrative, right? Every single little thing is changing the world, but it's not. They just pretend it's pure LARPing.
It's pure LARPing. Anyways, awesome, Phil. Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review, sponsored by
Citadel 21.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by 4Anna_12. Definitely looks like a fellow plebe. This is my third time posting this meme, but third time's the charm, right? Well, the third one is the one that got you on Simply Bitcoin Meme Review, so it was a good idea to post it 3 times because I only saw the third one. Volcano? No. Volcano? Yes. Oh, yeah, man. Awesome. Next one by the legendary Labra Hodl 10. Bitcoin when moon. My familia, sir, please. 21,000%. We're spoiled. That's what Bitcoin does. It spoils you. And by our friends at Bitcoin Magazine. Check it out. Oh, it's a bear on life support. And the thing. Very, very clever memes. Love them. By Plebs, by Bitcoin Magazine. Love it. Anyways, Phil, for those memes, I'm going to give it an air duster.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like that. What about you?
I love air dusters. A huge fan of air dusters. Use them all the time. It's fantastic.
They run out so quickly, though.
I know, that's the problem, right? And they get so cold.
I know.
You know, they get so cold, and then you shake them, and then eventually it just doesn't help. Anyways. And then you have to just let them heat up again.
Accurate description. Very accurate.
Yeah. Anyways, you can see I've used a duster or two in my day. Anyways, I am going to give it a, you know what? And I think, I don't think I've ever given it a score like this, any of the meme scores like this, but I got inspired. I'm going to go with an open dime. Ooh, I got to zoom out. Open dime. The black one, I guess? Is it? Yeah.
Yep, it is the black one. Oh, is that the one I gave you?
No, it's not. No, that one's in my collectible stuff.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Open dime. But man, great scores. Air duster and open dime. Guys, please stop what you're doing right now. Join our Telegram group, link down below. We'd love to have you in there and drop us some Bitcoin memes to review because it's a Bitcoin meme review. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by
Crypto Cloaks.
Okay, dude. I can't believe it. While here in the US, we're trying to print 3.5 trillion cuckbucks, of which we don't have. On the other side of the coast, on the Pacific coast, in the country of El Salvador, there is the orange light of hope, man. And this guy managed to turn volcanic energy, or is looking like turning volcanic energy into Satoshis. Epic. I can't believe he's actually doing it. And this was his first announcement on September 28th. But check this out. This came out today. It looks like those sats are going in, baby. So he already mined his first precious Satoshis. And yeah, man, they're mining using volcanic energy in El Salvador. This is huge. This is absolutely huge, Phil. Isn't
it awesome, though? It's like a screenshot from a pleb.
I just...
Right?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, here's my video, and here's a screenshot. But, like, what I find absolutely amazing, Phil, is that, like, it contrasts the things that are going on, right? Like you see El Salvador, you see the future, and it's weird because normally you'd be used to seeing these types of innovations happening in America or happening in China or happening in Europe, right? But because they're the ones to most benefit from the legacy financial system, right? They're the ones that are going to be the slowest to go to Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So now you're having Bitcoin, right, providing the future, the monetary policy over there in El Salvador, of developing countries. So it's like it's crazy how that works. And man, this is insane, right? So they're mining Bitcoin. The country's using Bitcoin as legal tender. Like people are receiving Bitcoin from abroad. And you could just go to any restaurant, anything. You could just use Bitcoin as currency. This is a total Bitcoin instead of dollarized, Bitcoin-ized country. Like, man, I see hope there. In the U.S., I see the $3 trillion infrastructure bill, and I'm like, what the fuck? And you see all the boomers arguing about it. And then you see there adopting Bitcoin, their economy is already up 24% this year alone. Yeah. And it's like, dude, I see hope in El Salvador. Here, I feel hopeful because I have Bitcoin, but like, I see like misery, man. I see the darkness that comes with fiat. Phil?
You know, this got me all thinking of, I forget if I saw this on TV today or I watched a clip, but it was like, you know, the one with Janet Yellen essentially explaining how, you know, we need to tax the unrealized gains. And I know this doesn't seem to have anything to do with this, but it does, right? Because it contrasts, I find, so heavily. Like, here we are watching a video about essentially, right? Like, let's be honest, you know, we're in our own we are in our own echo chamber, right? So for us, this is huge, but to the rest of the world, you know, like to the rest of the world that's paying attention to the mainstream media, this guy's a crackpot fool, and people like Steve Hanke are warning everyone about it. But what's really interesting is that all these people, these Steve Hankes and the Yellens and the Christine Lagardes, every single day, see, they keep saying the same thing over and over again, but every single day, right, Bitcoin churns out, what is it, 144? It's 144 more blocks, I think. Right, so 144 more blocks, and look, Nayib Bukele, right? 6 months ago, we were just listening about this, passed it as legal tender. The country didn't explode. Now he's got a miner online. That's starting to work. Every day that passes, all of these people, all of these puppets that they put in front of us to create a show, the show is becoming less and less believable.
Yep.
It already we didn't believe it, right? But the more evidence creation we have, especially by nation state actors like Nayib Bukele, I think the more this just knocks the wind right out of their sails. Like it does. They don't want to admit it, but it totally does.
I completely agree. But that's not going to stop them from trying. So
no, they are gonna piss everyone's money away trying to kill this thing.
Check out, from the media propaganda arm, Reuters, right? And they had to post this, very close to Nayib Bukele. Think about it, guys, as the legacy mainstream media as an arm of the fiat establishment. Think of Hanke up there with them as well, right? They are going to protect the powers that be, okay? It's only the plebs that are going to give you the true signal on Twitter. But anyways, and of course, Nayib Bukele, Michael Saylor, etc. How the Bitcoin boom could be leaving behind poor and older people. Right, we covered an episode this week about whether Bitcoin was right or left, and I said one of the reasons that they're going to try to sell this to the left, right, and say Bitcoin is not inclusive enough. Last month, El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, but many poorer and older people are struggling to make sense of it. Here's why: no internet or smartphone access. Okay, now check this out. Let me tell you why I'm calling bullshit, okay? There is 2.23 million El Salvadorians that have downloaded the Chivo app, and there is 1.8 million El Salvadorians that have a bank account. So this is already more inclusive than the thing that was there before. So what are they talking about? This is a better solution, but of course you have a problem with it because you have a problem with it because you're not being sincere. You're trying to sell an agenda. It's a fucking lie. Okay, second one. Poor confidence in Bitcoin. Suspicion about Bitcoin is widespread in El Salvador. 9 out of 10 said that they did not have a clear understanding about the digital currency. 8 and 10 said they had little or no confidence in its use. Okay, fine. But if you look at Nayib Bukele's approval rating, it's historic. And if you look at if you also look at the GDP growth in El Salvador, up 24% this year, historic as well, right? But of course, people that first using Bitcoin for the first time, yes, of course, they're gonna start asking questions. But I have read amazing news about that people, when they start using Bitcoin, when they start receiving remittances from the US in Bitcoin, they're saving tremendous amounts of money. So, just saying. Anyways, data concerns. Even the techie savvy have raised questions here. The fast adoption meant that there was little time to set up regulation. There we go again, Phil. There we go again.
There it is.
See, now they're revealing the lower we get, the lower we go, the more you find the data. It was literally at the last sentence that they tell you what is actually important to them. The fast adoption meant that there was little time to set up regulations that safeguarded personal data. And again, why are they saying that? Because they want to try to justify the bureaucracy, right, that is needed with traditional banking. The fact that they deployed it so quickly, and it's an app on your phone, right? And the gatekeeper was minimal. It was just to download your phone, right? Proves to you that the bureaucracy of the last century, of central banking, of banking in general, is no longer needed. Because if it was, so many people wouldn't have downloaded the Bitcoin wallet as fast as they did. And you compare that to the 1.8 million El Salvadorians that have a bank account. They've had a bank account for decades. The Bitcoin law was just passed about a month ago. And it already has more downloads than banks in the country. So yeah, Reuters, keep going with the propaganda because we're going to shut it down on Simply Bitcoin. Phil?
You know what? This whole time that you're talking about this, I'm like, I know for a fact, like, I know that I've read this before, so I have to show this. Okay? Nearly 3/4 of the world will use just their smartphones to access the internet by 2025. Okay? I mean, just that alone, this ridiculous idea that it doesn't serve the poor and the elder. I mean, listen, okay. So how many other technologies?
It's not about that. It's about
no, of course not.
It's about them using the
Yes.
dollar. That's what they
Of course.
want.
Of course.
They want El Salvador to use the dollar. They don't want El Salvador to use Bitcoin. That's what it's about. It has nothing to do about the poor and the thing.
No, of course not.
You know,
but I'm just saying, I like to debunk those two particular points, right? Because the poor, right? A lot of them, like I just showed you the statistic, like, and don't get me wrong, but like if you know, I know a social worker very well. And I can tell you that, there are a lot of, at least in the U.S., there are a lot of people, a lot of poor people that all have smartphones and not, you know what I mean? Like,
look,
it's not unusual, right? Like the majority of the world, even in India, you're more likely to have a cell phone than you are a freaking laptop.
Phil, and let's check out the alternative. The alternative. Right? Because they're talking about, oh, Bitcoin's this, Bitcoin's that, right? But let's talk about the alternative. The alternative is that El Salvadorians pay, 30%, up to 30% using Western Union. The alternative is that, the alternative is the dollar, which El Salvador wouldn't be able to control its monetary policy. Okay, but the alternative of El Salvador not using the dollar would be using its own currency, right? Which would definitely cause a lot more inflation, right? And let me kind of pull up an example of what I'm talking about, of a country in the region, right, The Venezuelan regime prepares to chop another 6 zeros after the Bolivar to try and mask its ongoing collapse. The currency has lost 14 zeros over the last 13 years. So this article, or these, this event thing from Twitter really is focusing on a non-problem because they want to try to justify that you still need the whole bureaucracy that they created around banking and KYC and this and this and that. They want to try to justify it. They go away completely.
They go away. They disappear, and they know that they disappear.
Which is why they're releasing these propaganda articles.
Yes,
man.
Absolutely. 100%.
So, Phil, we were talking earlier on the show to kind of pivot a little bit, and we'll wrap it up. We were talking about earlier about how essentially in the Daily Fail, how the shitcoiner did not understand that the end goal here is separating money from state. Okay? And if the reason that shitcoins are shitcoins is because they don't have sufficient amount of decentralization and hash rate backing them to withstand a nation-state attack. Meaning, to run a system that literally says, I don't care about your rules, United States. I'm just going to keep going. Because that's what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin doesn't care about all the rules in meat space. It says, go fuck yourself. That's what it's about, right? And let me give you an example and another Simply Bitcoin We Told You So moment of what we told you was going to happen actually happening. Check this out, Phil. We've been talking about this for months. It's a we told you so moment. Biden administration seeks to regulate stablecoin issuers as banks. What have we been telling you? And you know what they're going to go after next? DeFi.
Of course.
Can I tell you why? Because it's actually CeFi. Anyways.
Because they can.
Because they can. The Biden administration is considering ways to impose bank-like regulation on the cryptocurrency companies that issue stablecoins, according to people familiar with the matter, including prodding the firms to register as banks. The administration is also expected to urge Congress to consider legislation to create a special purpose charter for such firms that would be tailored to their business models, the people say. The moves are intended to address regulators' fears that stablecoins, digital currencies pegged to national currencies like the US dollar, could fuel financial panics and need to be more tightly regulated. All of that at the end is utter bullshit. This is about control. This is about bringing more things under the control of the state. And you know why the state could do that? Because they can. The only thing that the state cannot do that with, the only money that is freedom money, is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only one. Yeah, man. Anyway.
Never forget that they orchestrated the 2008 financial crisis, right? Never forget that. And you were talking before about the Moody's screenshot that we've shown in the past, where they only gave the downgrade to Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae after a 98% loss on their share price. You know what I mean? Like this is such nonsense. They have to your point, they have absolutely no interest in helping anyone. It has nothing to do with any of this, okay? It is all just, I don't even know if it's virtue theater or it's security theater or it's, I don't even know what, but it's theater, 100%. It is absolute theater, and they're just, look, they're grasping at straws. You know what I mean? Like, they're grasping at straws, and they are going to sit there and they are going to come down hard on the shit coins and the stable coins. I mean, come on. I've been talking about this for years already.
But look, Phil, it proves what we've been saying. We've been calling this. We've been saying this from the beginning. Guys, it's not because we're geniuses. It's because it's obvious. Anything that does not have sufficient amount of decentralization, a government will shut down, or it will bend it to its knee so that it works for the state. The banking system used to exist. It used to not be a second arm of the state. It used to not be an enforcer of the state. That started with the Bank Secrecy Act back in the 1970s, and then it got progressively worse. My point is that if the state could control it, it will control it. Bitcoin is the only thing that has sufficient amount of decentralization, meaning that you could live from without the state. And you want to bring down the central banks, Bitcoin is the answer. You want to defund the politicians so they stop going to war, Bitcoin is the answer. It is the peaceful revolution. And it takes away their ability to just print money and to go to war, man. Bitcoin fixes this.
I just want to point out one last thing, okay, which you originally pointed out in yesterday's video, was that essentially the politicians, right, the state is now answering to the bankers, okay? So now it's the state that is doing the bankers' bidding. So we've come full circle, right? It used to be the other way around, but as you showed yesterday, we've come full circle. They're just like, no. It's like, you know that meme, you're the plebe now? That's literally what just happened. That just happened to the states.
It just happened. It just happened, literally. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Craziness.
Crazy. Get ready, guys. We are going to win this war. Phil, there was an open source software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right. We've got Bisq version 1.7.4. And for the people who don't know what Bisq is, it is a truly decentralized Bitcoin exchange with no KYC, AML. Check it out. Links down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was our show. Before we go, buy your tickets to Bitcoin 2022. It's the largest Bitcoin conference in the world. Go, man. Phil and I are probably going to be there. It's awesome. I went to the one last year. I got to spoke. It was freaking crazy. Meet all the plebs. Meet all the you see all these, man. I saw Ron Paul speak last year. Check out the Bitcoin Conference 2022. Also, check out CryptoCloaks.com for the best Bitcoin 3D printed merch, like the Bitcoin grenade. Get 5% off with the link down below. Check out Citadel 21 for the best Bitcoin cultural zine. Get your Bitcoin news by plebs, for plebs, awesome stories, citadel21.com, and of course, Pirate Hash. Get your Bitcoin trinkets. It's like posters, there's like a board game. It's by the guy that did the UI for Bisq. Again, piratehash.com. Guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash the like button. And if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails from everyone these days, definitely consider subscribing. And we'll see you tomorrow, guys, for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Make no mistake, the state is doing the bank's bidding in this.